Hey everyone, so I'm here to help you with something that I get asked absolutely loads, and it's how to just determine your skin tone. So this, when people say tone, now first of all, you can kind of vary between different parts of your body as well, which is a bit confusing, but for women, generally you worry about like this area of your body and your face, because that's what the makeup is matching to. So you'll obviously have your light, your medium or mid-tone and your dark skins, and you have the different races, like you've Caucasian, Asian, Mediterranean, African and anything else that I'm leaving out. So it's very varying, but within all these different skin colours and races, there's usually warm or cool skin tone. Now, first of all, this can really confuse people because say MAC, which obviously is such a massive brand and it influences so many people to how they think and feel and know about makeup and stuff like that. MAC, when they say cool, it means yellow, and when they say warm, it means pink. But say for instance, like with L'Oreal, it's the completely opposite way around. When L'Oreal say cool, they mean pink, and when they say W, warm, they mean yellow. So I'm not going to say pink or warm and cool when I'm talking about the skin tones here, because it is just confusing. I'm just going to say pink and warm. I mean pink and yellow, and then I'll refer to warm and cool when it comes to the actual colours or whatever. So this can obviously be really obvious sometimes in some people, like Jennifer Lopez, who is known for her golden skin, or you know, that golden glow that she has that everyone adores. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Or someone like Nicola Roberts from Girls Aloud. Of course, she's very pale, but she's pink. There's not a hint of yellow in her anywhere. So for yellow skin tones, so that would be when there's more gold pigment in your skin. You wouldn't really have much redness, or even if you're darker, your tan is going to be more gold rather than bronze or brown. You generally suit ivory better than white. Gold jewellery will tend to suit you a little bit better than silver. You also suit earth tones, so like your oranges, your rusts, your mustards, your like warm browns, that kind of thing. And then when you've got more of a pink skin tone, this can be more obvious sometimes, I think, in very pale people or in very dark people. Like someone who is with African skin, if they were to put a golden based foundation on them, it would make them look so ashy because it's completely in the wrong tone. And so they'll suit white better than ivory. They'll suit silver better than gold. Now this is just general because I'm going for more the extremes. You can have people who are slightly more neutral, so they can be anywhere in the spectrum, but just kind of more in the center, because obviously there's gold here, you have your pink here, and then there's everything in between. And of course then there's your neutrals. Now it's hard to get a truly neutral person, because generally you'll have a little bit more pink or gold in you. But more pink based skin tones anyhow will suit more jewel tones. So you're talking about your blues, your greens, your pinks, purples, that kind of thing. And also your tan tends to be a bit more bronzy brown than golden. So some, just for example, some like famous people who would be yellow undertoned, so this would be cool and MAC and warm for everyone else. So you'd have like pale people like Gwen Stefani. She tends to be more of that kind of creamy, like buttery white, rather than you know, pasty white. When you go to your more mid-tone skin tones, someone like Jessica Alba, she's quite golden. So it's really common in Latinos. What's her name? Eva Mendes, she's quite golden as well. And then like the supermodel Chanel Iman, she has a beautiful golden undertone as well, and she would be black skin. So they'd be just some of the ones that I can kind of think of now with those undertones, and I will put some pictures on my blog as well of these girls, just so you can see them. And then when you're talking about more the pink toned skin, so this is warm and MAC but cool for everyone else. And for when you're talking about pale people, so you're talking about Anne Hathaway, she is quite pale, obviously she's very, very pale, but she has slightly more of that pink tinge coming through. Evan Rachel Wood, Kirsten Stewart, they're both quite pale and with pretty much no yellow in their skin that you can see. Then when you're going a little bit more medium, you'd have someone like, well, Katy Perry tends to be, she goes between light and medium, but even when she does do her tan, I think she does kind of stick to the slightly more beigey bronzy tan, which suits her better. Lindsay Lohan is another one. She's definitely pink based. Sometimes you'll see her with a really golden tan, which I don't think suits her, and then sometimes you'll see her with more bronzy tan, which suits her better. So it's sometimes harder to tell the people with the pink undertones because they tend to wear tan that doesn't necessarily match their own undertone. We've got your darker skin tone like Jada Pinkett Smith. She's quite she wouldn't have much gold in her skin naturally. Neither would, if you look at early pictures of Tyra Banks, she wasn't at all golden. She had definitely much more like red undertoned but black skin, and nowadays she looks more golden, so she obviously uses a different colour tanner on herself, and you know, wears different foundation. So with all that out of the way, there's a few different methods of checking out your skin tone. So one of the most common ones I've ever heard of is to look at the underside of your arm and check for the veins and see as to whether they look blue, which would indicate that you're more pink undertone, or to see if that they look maybe more greenish, to see if you're yellow undertone, because obviously when the yellow in your skin goes over the blue, it kind of turns it greenish. Now this I find doesn't really suit people who are very pale, because say like myself, I would be slightly more yellow undertoned, but I'm not like ridiculously yellow, I'm neutral yellow I suppose, so I don't have enough of the pigment to turn it blue because I'm so pale, so it just looks like kind of bluey. It doesn't really look anything as such. And then if you're very dark, like if you're African skin, it's not going to look blue or green because there's too much of the darkness over it. And then, so that's one thing you could try. So I think it suits more kind of medium skin tones to try that method out. Now another method would be to look at your hands. I find it can be quite obvious to do with hands because we get more sun on our hands as well, so we tend to get a little bit more pigment. And then me and one of the girls in work the last day, we were just comparing our own hands. It's not as obvious on our faces because we'd wear foundations, but when we put our hands up against each other, I just looked like a Simpson compared to her, and she looked like really, really pink. But it's not, like I said, always accurate because you can be a little bit different here than you are to your hands for some people. So just keep that in mind. So I would say try all these methods and then like tick them off and see which you get the most hits off of. So another really good thing would be to get a sheet of white paper. So just a plain sheet of white paper, hold it up against your skin in natural daylight in front of your mirror and just see how your skin reads against it. So you'll tend to see whether if you are yellow based, your skin will tend to look a little bit more yellow because it's being contrasted against the white, and if you're pink based, it'll tend to look a bit more pink. So that's another good one. Again, like I was saying, gold jewellery will just seem to look a bit more harmonious against yellow skin tones, and silver jewellery can look more harmonious against pink skin tones. See whether your clothes wash you out or not, because obviously if they're completely different tone to your skin, it just won't look right. You might be able to put your finger on it why, but it just won't look right. So I was also saying earlier on about how white can suit pink skin, undertone skin better than ivory, and vice versa. Ivory would just suit the golden yellow undertone skin because it's just slightly more harmonious. When you tan, if you've yellow undertone, you tend to look more golden, and if you've pink, you tend to go more of that bronzy, beigey brown. And then finally, if all else fails, go to a professional. Obviously, go onto your MAC counter, go onto your whatever counter. The reason I'm saying MAC is because MAC are one of the few brands that do break it up into tones, unlike say like Bobbi Brown, who believes that everyone is yellow undertoned, which certainly isn't true in this part of Europe anyhow. That's a very sweeping statement of her to say that everyone's yellow undertone, because it's definitely not true. But if you go to MAC, the girls there and the guys there are trained to be able to determine what your skin type or tone is. That's just kind of my different guide now on how to determine your skin tone. So hopefully it was comprehensive enough to give you an idea as to what your skin tone is, and that you can try out all these different methods, and it'll make life easier on you when you are going to try and pick out the right foundation for your skin tone. So thanks a million for watching, guys, and I'll chat to you all really soon. Slán.